You know, the market has a very special spirit. You know, when I was a teenager, Kensington Market was vintage clothing stores all down Kensington Avenue, just, you know, north of Dundas. That's what Kensington Market was. It was Courage My Love and a bunch of stores that have since closed. Courage My Love is still there, and it was like the vintage clothing destination. Now I think it's more a food destination than ever, not just for me, but generally there are a lot of, just in the last like maybe 4 or 5 years, these great takeaway counter style restaurants that are serving really specific and really amazing quality food.
So my name's Sean Adler. I'm from Pow Wow Cafe and I'm the owner and chef. I've been serving Indian tacos since 2003 when I opened my first business in Peterborough. It was called Asmavic's Bakery and Bistro. I was doing festivals, small little folk festivals, selling Indian tacos, and it slowly progressed into like bigger festivals, bigger music festivals. And people always asking, where can we get an Indian taco? Specifically, where in Toronto can we get an Indian taco? Pow Wow Cafe was born. I'd been searching in Kensington Market in particular. I really like the community here. It's just such a diverse amount of cultures here, and it's always in transition. You know, it began as the Jewish neighborhood, and then it sort of transitioned very Portuguese heavy, and now it seems there's a lot of taco places, which I kind of fit into that mold, but not exactly. So it's just fun to be part of the market. It's a great dining scene here. So an Indian taco is based on fry bread, or bannock, which is a delicious little deep fried bun, basically, and then on top goes chili. Traditionally, at most Pow Wows, it's a beef chili, cheddar cheese, lettuce, tomato. And here we take a few more liberties, add things like cilantro, jalapenos, more traditional taco ingredients. And then we have a lot of other varieties. So we do a jerk chicken, a smoked pork shoulder, a vegetarian. So today we're gonna make a venison taco. So it's the fry bread with a venison chili on top and then all of the toppings. And then we're also gonna make another dish, which will be 2 poached eggs over fry bread, topped with a smoked salmon, goat's cheese cream sauce. Fry bread comes from rations originally, like once Aboriginal people were removed from their lands and they were subsiding originally off like hunting or fishing or farming. When that couldn't happen anymore, the Canadian and American government implemented rations. Part of the rations were white flour and lard, things like baking powder, so that's how bannock came about. It's served at Pow Wows pretty well pan-Canada. Certainly it is in the States as well. I think the timing is right for numerous reasons. We're getting, you know, at least a generation removed from residential school. So what you're having is Aboriginal people that have like a better upbringing potentially that is not where we're removed from our families. So I think that's why you're gonna see Aboriginal people succeeding in all areas of culture. I'm not exactly sure at what point an Indian taco was born, but I'm happy it was. It's delicious, delicious dish.
Okay, so at the beginning of the last century, all the immigrants lived in the ward, and eventually that land became desirable, and the city bought it, and that's where now stands City Hall. Immigrants started to disperse. The Jews specifically moved a little bit westward, and they started to come into this neighborhood, and as merchants and immigrants started setting up stalls, carts, stuff like that on the streets, you know, and then after a little bit more, they started to rent the storefronts, right? And a little bit more, they started to renovate the storefronts, and then they started to rent the actual buildings, started to buy the buildings until eventually you get to the point where it was their neighborhood, and there were supposedly dozens of synagogues in this neighborhood. There's 2 left now. They're both basically in disuse.
I find it fascinating as an urban geographer to watch populations kind of flow through the city, and they leave their traces, and they leave their restaurants, and they leave their community centers, and they kind of like follow these very linear patterns. Sometimes there's like that leapfrogging that happens. But the Jewish community you can very easily follow from Dundas and Bay to Spadina, Kensington, and then you hit Bathurst, and then you just go up, up, up.
You know, this is the cycle of immigration. You live here and you live where it's cheapest, which is probably at that point in time before Toronto was really built out, downtown, and then you, over the course of a couple generations, you open businesses, you own homes, and you start to have some money, and you move and you settle a new area. So over the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you had waves of Portuguese, Caribbean, Iranian, all sorts of Latin influences.
It's just like you have slices of every culture all together, and it's very visible. The neighborhood is distinguished because all these cultures are making themselves known, and they're, you know, commerce oriented.
When people talk about condos going up there or a Loblaws opening nearby, which happened, you know, those sorts of changes, people get very angry and want to like preserve the feeling of Kensington.
It both matters to everyone and is totally irrelevant that a neighborhood loses its character.
The city kind of has a way of expressing itself and its needs, and I think that we would do ourselves a disservice by restricting all business there.
It's constantly changing, and it's the nature of a neighborhood like this. For whoever was here a bit longer than you to tell you, it's not like it used to be, but it's never been like it used to be.
There's also been so many wonderful new businesses opening there. Just off Augusta, there is a space behind the empanada shop where new, small startup vendors can rent space.
My name is Sean Reel. I'm the owner of 7 Lives Tacos in Kensington Market. 214 Augusta is a food incubator. It was a small Latin food court. Just like people who can afford to own restaurants, they would go there and kind of test out ideas, and that's essentially what we did. We went there to test our recipes, see if people liked them, see if there was a market for our food. 7
Lives is a market success story. So they started out as a little stall there. They gained a big enough following. They got on their feet, and then they opened a full shop.
We opened the doors and we were slammed, line out the door. My mom came to see me and she ended up washing dishes all day.
They also tell the story of, you know, what one of the things that was happening in the market, one of the great things happening in the market, which is supporting small business and helping it grow.
We didn't anticipate success. I thought I would be out of business in the first year. Our first day of opening, I had to borrow $200 from my girlfriend for avocados and produce because I didn't have any money left after renovation. So I was like, yeah, we're definitely going out of business. And then we opened up and we were slammed. It was amazing.
It's crowded and you can think of it as a nightmare, but it's also great. You share a table that they have one tiny table, and you share it with whoever else is eating, and you chat with them, and everybody always loves the food and asks which taco you're eating, and it fosters community.
Our biggest seller and our signature dish is the gobernador, and that one is blue marlin. We smoke ourselves for 4 hours in our production kitchen. It has shrimp, cheese. We have the marlin gets mixed with different spices after it's smoked. We also do a salsa with it, tomatoes, chili morita, vinegar, and it cuts through the richness of the taco. And we also do house pickled onions with jalapenos and star anise, and that really complements the smoked fish as well. In Toronto, there's definitely a trend for tacos, and so it's really important to us to make sure that we focus on what we're doing and not what other people are doing. It's a dangerous path to go down when you follow trends. The best thing is to keep it simple, make it taste good, and make it fresh. I think the market kind of chose us. We just kind of gravitated towards it. It was like a organic, natural progression for 7 Lives, and I don't think we would have succeeded like this anywhere else.
They then also opened an ice cream paleteria shop, so they are doing Southern California style fish and seafood tacos, and now sweets.
The dessert shop is something we opened up because we thought people would really enjoy it, families and kids and everything. We do like Mexican style fruit ice pops. So we have like mango and chili, we have prickly pear. In the future, we are looking to turn it into a cantina. So serving lots of beer, free snacks, free food. We'll also be doing like home cooked meals there.
The spirit of what people are attracted to in Kensington is that kind of organic messiness, and by restricting it too much, I think that would kind of kill the market. So as we negotiate that with a lot of care and love for the place, we should keep that in mind, that the market is kind of what it is because it's chaos.